too late. As usual. Armstrong. Impressive little toy you've got there. But your plan ends here. Idiot. You're not ending our plan. You're expanding it. Check the internet lately.
Ryder, Air Force One is coming back to the States.
What? How'd they go?
Someone posted photos of what's happening on the base. The whole world is up in arms.
Show me. How did they? The story leaked early, and Marshall's plan is ruined.
The hell it is. Look what they're saying. The story just went live, and already they're calling for blood.
But the president was saved. And yet American blood was spilled. By Americans. Besides, a few dozen soldiers is tragic, but nothing to start a major war over. That's just a spark, son. The excuse we've been waiting for. America's wanted this war for years. The Patriots, they knew war was good for the economy. 4 years later, their legacy lingers on. The memes. They left us their great isms. Nationalism, unilateralism, materialism. Welcome maxims for those with no faith, without guiding principles of their own. Give yourself up to the whole. No need to better yourself. You're American. You're number one. Then the only value left is dollar value. The economy. So we'll do whatever it takes to keep it humming along. Even war. Especially war. Bullshit. The Patriots planted the seed. We don't need them around to filter and foster their memes any longer. We're spreading them just fine ourselves. Every American man, woman, and child. They're all sons of our Patriots now. We just need something to jumpstart the economy out of this funk. This recession has been stuck in since the fall of SOP. And the military costs? Wasting billions is going to help the economy? DMCs, arms manufacturers, job creators, Jack. All those workers spending money, paying taxes. Trust me, a little more can work wonders. So grease the gears with some innocent blood, is that it? Oh, relax, Jack. It's a war on terror. We're not out to kill civilians. Extremists, lawless gangs, madmen. Of course, that would have to include you. Wouldn't want any eyewitness reports complicating the message.
In the end, nothing ever changes. Science always ends up being used for war.
No, it's like any weapon. It's only a tool. It's all up to who wields it. Not everyone has their own selfish agenda. Some people like you are making a difference for the better.
If only I could believe that.
Cheer up, Sonny. You have the power to bring hope to a lot of people.
Yeah, you're right.
My. A Metal Gear Excelsis.
I know I've heard that name before.
Indeed. It made the news several times during development. A lot of people thought they'd have a hard time finding a buyer.
It's enormous.
One of the first large-scale, multi-legged tanks AT Corp has made in some time. UGs have grown smaller and smaller, but this is certainly a 180-degree change of direction.
So why do it?
The advance of artificial musculature is one reason miniaturization has grown so rapidly. But another is the shift from nuclear deterrence to asymmetrical warfare. Deploying such a large unit for guerrilla or urban warfare would be overkill. The collateral damage alone would be stupendous. Once cyborg tech began to advance, though, small-scale UGs were no longer so effective. Against an adversary of the same size, a cyborg with human-level decision-making skills, well, it will always have the advantage. So, as the theory goes, why not make UGs giant again? Overwhelm the cyborg with sheer firepower. That was the idea that led to Excelsis.
Like you said, overkill. But it's still no good in urban combat, right?
Correct. Assuming you weren't intending to raise the urban area in the process anyway.
What do you mean?
Well, a Gecko-class UG is too large for many parts of city areas, but also too small to simply trample any buildings and such standing in its way. But this magnificent beast, it could smash whole houses without even breaking stride.
And what? It's just sorry, but fuck you, civilians? I mean, even if they were just knocking down houses, the media'd have a field day.
I sincerely doubt they care. If a US soldier dies in combat, it's nationwide front-page news. If civilians in wherever stand are killed in an airstrike, nobody gives a second thought. But you know, they talk about the deterrent effect of this UG, about it striking fear in people's hearts. If there is a UG airstrike, you don't have any time to flee. But if this behemoth was lumbering your way,
You'd run. Anyone would. Except trained guerrillas.
precisely. Thus, the UG would only be fighting against actual combatants. With a manned ground unit like that, there's a lesser chance of erroneous strikes. Plus, the legs make navigating rugged terrain a veritable walk in the park. And it would take much more than a rocket launcher to take it down. The crew couldn't be safer.
Is there really that much demand, though?
Ah, that is the question, yes. Of course, we would seem to have our answer now. If things go the way Armstrong wants them to, before too long, we could see whole herds of Excelsi trampling across Pakistan's Sparta. Right. You okay?
Yeah. Just wasn't expecting that, that's all. They didn't need to kill Hamilton at all for Tecumseh to work. Fabricating an assassination attempt was all they really needed to do.
Yeah, should have guessed considering the political climate in the U.S. Ever since the Occupy movement, Wall Street's been manipulating the media. You know, scapegoating foreign interests in order to divert the public's attention.
Which played a part in the Patriot memes. Just like he was saying.
Probably. If being an American's the only thing you got to be proud of, it's easy to just start blaming non-Americans for all the problems you have to deal with.
And it's not just a U.S. thing either. You've seen how anti-immigration all the first world nations are these days. The whole "they took our jobs" bit. It's an easy story to swallow.
The Patriots spreading their memes worldwide. That's how Armstrong would probably put it. And just like he said, materialism runs rampant among the financial elite. They see exploiting the poor as a sign of their success. They enter businesses that accomplish nothing for anyone besides themselves. I mean, it's a fact that manufacturing jobs have been drained from first world countries. Immigration or not. That's not the immigrants' fault. It's the fault of the bankers and the financiers. The folks who pressed for globalization so they could pad their quarterly figures.
Yeah, pretty obvious if you take a sec to think about it.
That's harder than you think, you know. Getting an objective picture of what's really going on? Hell of a lot easier to passively accept other people's opinions and standards. Still, the memes that get spread around can be good and bad in equal measures. It's our job to pick the good ones. Spread those around a little more.
Sure is. But before that,
Yeah. Think you can stop it?
no matter what.
attack is from AT Corp, codenamed Metal Gear Excelsis.
Metal Gear.
It's not nuclear equipped, but Metal Gear is still in the product name.
Fancy. That's just a PR thing, huh?
Perhaps. The term was coined because they were meant to serve as gears. Gears linking infantry with weaponry, duh?
I guess Ray didn't have any nukes either.
Duh. It would be useless as a technical weapon with that sort of equipment. Once we entered the era of asymmetrical warfare after the Cold War, the idea of a deterrent force fell out of fashion.
Right. Because people preferred weapons that could actually be used to kill people.
Yes, I would guess they call it Metal Gear to separate it from smaller Walker-type UGs. Excelsis means high or lofty. It is also the species name of Apatosaurus, the dinosaur.
Apatosaurus. That used to be Brontosaurus, right? It's definitely big enough. But why do they have it? I'm sure they can afford it, but I thought the whole point of Tecumseh was to shift the blame away from World Marshal.
It is smokescreen, I think. Part of this oath must be to disguise the source of their funding. I know Desperado makes good money, but this is not a thing thugs like that could purchase. I think the purpose is to make this incident seem bigger and more elaborate than it really is. With this, it appears like more than a simple Pakistani border group supporting Desperado. It suggests that ISI is involved, or maybe terrorists from an OPEC nation. It will lead to war, a world war. One with two very distinct sides for a change.
Christ. And that asshole Armstrong calls it a war on terror.
If the Western nations begin chasing down terrorists, they will respond in kind, just as before. And before long, Western civilians will once again become targets. Can you stop it, Ryan?
Don't know, but I gotta try.
Ryan, are you okay? That's a pretty crazy Metal Gear.
Kind of a far cry from your Mark II and III, huh, son?
Him.
No, not a chip.
Yeah.
destiny. A land of the truly free, damn it. A nation of action, not one ruled by strict machiavelli. Where the law changes to suit the individual, not the other way around. Where power and justice are back where they belong. In the hands of the people. Where every man is free to think, to act for himself. Fuck all these lunatic lawyers, chicken shit bureaucrats. Fucking 24/7 internet spew of trivia and celebrity bullshit. Fuck American pride. Fuck the media. Fuck all of it! America's disease, rotten to the core. There's no saving it. We need to pull it out by the roots. Wipe the slate clean. Burn it down! And from the ashes, a new America will be born. Evolved, but unchanged. The weak will be purged, and the strongest will thrive, free to live as they see fit. They'll make America great again! What the hell are you talking about? You still don't get it. I'm using war as a business to get elected! So I can end war as a business. In my new America, people will die and kill for what they believe. Not for money, not for oil, not for what they're told is right. Every man will be free to fight his own wars. So, what do you think? How the hell did you get elected? Well, I don't write my own speeches. You should try fighting for what you believe in sometime, Jack. Not for a company or a nation or for anyone else. Maybe I was wrong about you. Am I finally getting through? I'll rid this world of pointless wars, Jack. I was wrong. You're not greedy.
I was barely scratching him anyway. Whenever my blade landed, it was like hitting a cyborg. What the hell's going on here, Doc?
Difficult to say for certain. Claytronics, perhaps?
Claytronics?
Yes, clay, like molding clay. Picture a great number of nanomachines formed into a block. These nanomachines are capable of changing position relative to the others on command. They move how they are instructed, and so the block can take on any number of forms. Imagine clay which you do not alter with your hands. You simply think of a shape and it becomes that.
What's the connection, Doc?
Well, what if you build a human form out of this clay? A form that can freely bend its arms and legs however it pleases. In other words, a completely free-moving nanomachine body.
That's impossible.
Not impossible, just extremely difficult. I thought it was only theoretical before now. Nanotechnology is not a specialty of mine, but it would follow with the right implementation. A user could adjust the binding force of the nanomachines to armor himself against damage.
Okay, let's say that's it. How do I beat him?
Well, he can't possibly be directing every individual nanomachine with his brain. There must be some kind of core unit at the heart of the system controlling them all. Destroy that, and the entire system should go offline.
So Zandatsu is hard? Makes sense if I had a sword.